Murder One is London's only mystery specialist bookshop, opened nearly 20 years ago on the Charing Cross Road. I'm Maxim Jakubowski. I'm the owner of Murder One. I spent most of my years working in book publishing, and then when I left, I opened a bookshop because basically I had to stay with books, and I also write books, crime books, I edit books, and basically anything to do with books I'm involved in. I'm one of those few people who makes crime pay, in an honest way, of course.
You do sell books.
What does this look like? A banana?
I've owned Murder One for nearly 20 years now, and there's absolutely no doubt that one of the most long-lasting characters is Philip Marlowe, as of course created by Raymond Chandler.
You're a genuine private detective.
Sure.
Raymond Chandler is one of the great names of crime writing. Initially you had Conan Doyle, who wrote Sherlock Holmes, then came Agatha Christie, and then of course came Raymond Chandler, and of course the crime genre was never the same again.
Can you follow that van?
It ain't moving.
Well, just suppose it does.
Sure.
Okay, let's go.
I think the Philip Marlowe books are still popular today. They keep on selling. Every few years publishers reissue them with new introductions, new covers, and when you consider when they were created, they've never gone out of fashion. They're always modern, and they still are.
You're not even surprised.
Chandler was for much of his adult life an advertising copywriter, and he had a very odd relationship with his job. Obviously advertising is in many cases lying, and Chandler was rather uneasy about it, took refuge in drink. It's well known that he was an alcoholic, sadly.
A lot of people seem to think I am, but I'm not.
When he started writing, it was to get away from the real life, but then of course the real life came back in his books.
No, I don't blame him.
His ideal Marlowe was a very flawed character, as was Chandler. And I think there's this incredible symbiosis between author and character, which makes Marlowe the most unique detective in the history of crime fiction.
You keep it quiet, I'll keep it quiet. Okay?
Nice work, Marlowe.
I think the reason Raymond Chandler created the character was a mad attempt at doom romanticism. It's basically who he would have wanted to be. Chandler was a very broken, very odd character, and I think he projected a lot of himself in Marlowe. I mean, Marlowe is this knight of the dark, mean streets, but he's also a very bruised person, a very romantic person, which of course one didn't expect in crime fiction.
You remember me? Doghouse Riley? Come on. Let's go inside, huh?
I think what made Mitchum's image of Marlowe on screen unique is that he puts a weariness in the character. There's something both louche and attractive about him. You can feel all the years where things haven't worked out. Marlowe in the books has a past. He seldom talks about the past, but you know there's a past there. And without going into any detail, just the way Mitchum can look at the camera evokes all those years and all the other Marlowe stories that we'll never hear of. I think one of my favourite scenes in The Big Sleep is in fact when Marlowe comes and meets the Colonel, played by James Stewart, and I think it's an incredible scene because it's two major actors at the peak of their careers, and actors who won't really do much more afterwards.
Brandy?
Thank you.
I used to drink this with champagne.
I think there's a sort of both sadness and beauty in Robert Mitchum and James Stewart sparring on screen, and I think it makes for quite an unforgettable scene.
And now, Mr. Marlowe, I must excuse myself.
His heart was a brief, uncertain murmur.
I'm tired.
His thoughts were as gray as ashes. And in a little while, he too would be sleeping the big sleep.